Cool bananas, right. Harley-Davidson Pan America Special. First chance to get it into some dirt, and it's not disappointing. Let's take a quick look at this bad boy, because I'm thoroughly impressed with what Harley-Davidson's done here. It's definitely not a dud, and it's priced just right at just under $34,000 for the base bike. This one, as you can see, has spoked wheels. That also comes with the adjustable ride height, ARH. Definitely worth the extra money. That ARH system, particularly if you're a bit short in the leg, like I am, that combined with putting the seat in the low position makes this bike so manageable. It's just incredible. So we'll take a quick look around. So, what shall we start with first? Let's go with the engine. Revolution Max 1250. It's about 1252 in reality. Very different from any Harley engine ever. Integrated gearbox, beautiful gear shifting. Surprisingly, it doesn't have a quick shift or anything, but it does shift quite seamlessly. Variable valve timing, and all that sort of new modern goodness. Styling wise, bit contentious, but in person it is nowhere near as horrendous looking as it is in photos, and I'm actually becoming quite a fan. Bit of a vulnerable radiator, if we get in there. A little bit vulnerable. Definitely could do with a sort of a metal protector of some sort. They've already put on crash bars to protect the sides of the radiator and the spots and whatnot. Thankfully I haven't had to use those. One thing I do want to know is here on the Harley logo, I'm going to have to email Harley-Davidson and find out. There's a nice little map here, and I'm wondering where this topographical map has come from. Right, let's get into the good stuff. So keyless, it's a keyless bike. So key just sits in your pocket, does all the good stuff. Here we are, tells us all about the good stuff. Warning, side stand down. That's another weird thing about this bike. It's side stands in your typical Harley-Davidson position, which is sort of right underneath the engine instead of sitting back here, which takes some getting used to. It's a little bit tricky to get down as well, just because it's in front of your gear selector, and to kick it down you're sort of hitting your gear shifter at the same time. Factory tyres, actually pretty good, very confidence inspiring. Chain drive, but yeah, let's get into the toys. So, beautiful dash, adjustable windscreen, very easy to use, just grab and click. I think there's about 3 positions there. TFT display, plenty of stuff to go through there. Oh, it's not going to let me do it because the side stands down. Alright, we'll have to do that when I put my helmet back on and run through that. Adjustable levers, mirrors that work, beautiful mirrors. Barely any vibration gets through those. If anything, I've got one complaint about the switchgear is, well, I've got 2 complaints really. The indicator lacks a bit of feedback, particularly when you're going to cancel it. Especially if you're wearing gloves. When I picked this bike up, had winter gloves on, and trying to touch all these buttons and have a play around was actually quite tricky. But you got lots of goodies there, heated hand grips, cruise control, high beam, low beam, and lots of modes to play with. If you've got the Harley-Davidson Boom Center set, you can also integrate that in here as well. And running the Harley-Davidson app, you can bring up navigation. Very thorough. Oh, that's another thing. I believe the Special gets the steering damper as well as the electronic adjustable ride height. So, what else can I say about this bike? Yeah, I think it's a lovely bike. Definitely more on the touring side. If you want more hardcore adventure, you're of course going to look at the KTM with its 21-inch front wheel. The 19 is fine. If anything, it did strike me as the front tyre is quite wide. What sizing is it? Go have a quick look. 120 70 19, and just have a gander at that. It just, I don't know, it seems quite a large width front tyre, but it does the job, which is all you really want. And yeah, for now I think that's enough for just having a yarn on this thing. Let's go ride it and see what fun we can have. Oh, it's starting to rain. Do a skid! Oh, lovely. Ooh, definitely wasn't raining when I left home this morning. Oh, big stick, avoid that. Oh. Alright, so Pan America in the dirt. Well, gravel. Closest dirt I'm willing to take it today, to be honest. But yeah, it doesn't disappoint. Lots of electronics, as I said. Good fun bike. Weighs about 257 kilos, I believe, is the New Zealand spec. So that's basically exactly 100 kilos heavier than my Rally, my little Honda, which kindly is being put through a warrant of fitness at Road and Sport in Hamilton, the dealership I bought this. Well, I didn't buy this, sorry. The dealership I picked this up off. Oh wee, check that out. You don't want to run over all that shit. Crikey. I'm pretty familiar with this ride, but this is probably the ruggedest it's been in terms of crap on the road. So this engine, being variable valve timing, it's like it's got two personalities. It's got this nice sort of torquey low end where you can just tractor over everything, and then out on the highway, if you want to have a lot of fun, you can let it rip, and it just sounds awesome. Doesn't sound like your typical Harley, interestingly. There's not really that potato thing going on. Instead, it's sort of got this dry sump V8 kind of thing going on. I quite like it. Oh, getting wet. Can't see. Slowing down. So, in terms of being dynamic, it's quite a nice bike. You got, obviously, electronic suspension provided by, I think it's Showa that does the hardware. Harley did all the electronics side of things, and the ARH system is beautiful. It just, you don't even know it's working. All of a sudden you pull up to a light and you can touch the ground. It's great. So traction control and ABS is still on in this ride mode I've got it on. And they're not all that intrusive. And I'm actually kind of glad that they're there. Finally getting out of the raindrops a bit. It's a bit misty up here on Mount Pirongia today. Sit down, have a bit of a cockpit look. So beautiful big TFT display, has all of the stuff you could want, and a bit more, to be honest. I know some people are a bit hesitant with technology. So bring up a map. So we've got a map here saying where we are, and I did basically set it up on the Harley app, which is a must do for this bike. It just adds so much, includes giving you the ability to look at the owner's manual whenever and wherever you are. And so that Harley app, you can have navigation set up. It's only point A to point B, unfortunately, so it's not like the River app or Google Maps. We can set up waypoints, as far as I can tell anyway, in the limited time I've been playing with it. Ooh, Pig Hunter. But it does get the job done. If you're unsure of where you're going, you just whack that in. You can have it give you the full map readout, or you can have just this little icon down in the right hand side of the screen. Also tells you your fuel. The fuel gauge is actually really tiny. but it is a 20 odd litre tank with a bit extra to spare. But I just can't get over how confidence inspiring this bike is. Normally I'm very hesitant in gravel on a bike that A, isn't mine, and B, costs so much. Because I don't want to have to get a second mortgage on the house to pay for a bike that I've been. So I take it reasonably easy with these things off-road, understandably. Have a little bit of fun and kind of test the limits, but only really an owner will put the full limits of this bike into sort of the test, as you'd say. Wonderful. Might be worth stopping for a pic here. Oh, turkeys. Lots of turkeys. Gobble gobble. Gobble 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 turkeys. Another American import. Gobble gobble gobble. Let's get you turkeys. Gobble gobble gobble. Gobble gobble. Ha ha ha. Run turkeys, run. Ha ha ha. Gobble gobble. Do you want to, like, I don't know. You're turkeys, you can fly. What are you doing? Crazy creatures. Right. I can't see particularly well, so I'm just going to clean my glasses a bit. Right. Let's carry on. Hello, cows. Yeah, for a 150 horsepower bike, I don't know why you'd want any more power. This delivers it so nicely as well. It builds and then it surges. So you sort of got a point in the rev range where it just ticks over and just takes off. Alright. Yeah, definitely be more than happy to do most of my South Island trip again on one of these. Probably not the Mangatapu. That was hard enough on the little 250. Can't imagine how much work it would be on something like this. But the Rainbow Road, easy. Happily do it on this. Molesworth as well. So you could do the Molesworth on your standard touring Harley. It's that well graded. Oh, lovely. It's nice having a lot of power at your wrist and you don't have to like work the throttle completely. Along here on my bike I'm normally just completely tapped out. I'm barely touching the throttle on this. It's just happily rolling along. That's another thing I've been meaning to say. The clutch is incredibly light. It's a cable operated clutch, it's not a fancy hydraulic unit, and it's just unbelievably light. You'd expect it to be on something more akin to a 650 than a 1250. So easy to modulate. That's thanks to having a slip assist clutch. But man, it's it. That was probably the biggest surprise when I first got on this bike, was just how light the clutch action is. Especially after getting off the little Honda. The clutch on that is barely, like, you have to put no effort into that. And I was expecting this to have a rather heavy clutch like your typical Harley, and it doesn't. Which bodes well for the future. Oh, I love the noise this thing puts out. So I can feel the traction control just kick in a little bit here. I've been playing mid-corner with the throttle, kicking out a little, and then you just feel it just grab you just before you start slipping too much. It's got me thinking back to when me and the boys did the Forgotten Highway and around Taranaki together. And Ben was riding the party couch, the R1250 GS Adventure, and I couldn't believe just how much confidence he had in the bike. And in the couple of years since then, I like to think my gravel riding's come a long way. But I'd love to ride against the party couch along, do that ride again with this, with the party couch, and do a proper comparison. So, if this records, and I don't know if it is because I have very low memory card space, but if it does, this is going to be the conclusion on the Pan America. So, obviously I think it's a great bike, as the previous bits of footage will attest to, but what's up with it? So it's got a couple of niggly little points, busy buttons, and I found the exhaust, if you're standing on the pegs, on the balls of your feet, the exhaust gets in the way of your heel, and I don't have massive feet. But otherwise, it's truly a great first go by Harley, and I find it very confidence inspiring, particularly with the electrics on. So I've got it on off-road mode too. Gives you a bit of slip on the rear wheel, but not too much. And you can have a lot of fun with it. It feels almost like a big version of my 250 in the way it slides. It just catches you when you start to think, oh, this is going a bit far. Road manners is beautiful. The RevMax engine, I think it's about 5,000 RPM or thereabouts that it sort of jumps onto the hot cam. Everything under that, it's nice and tractory. And it sounds great for a dual overhead cam V-twin. Like, it does sound a bit like a V8 on heat. Handling wise, yeah, it's got a 19-inch front wheel, but it is very easy to ride. I could ride this all day. I'd be more than happy to take on some of the more famous or infamous New Zealand adventure routes on this. Obviously none of that real gnarly stuff that guys on 500cc KTMs and the like get onto. But for your more basic adventure riding, this is perfect. Does the job. Be interesting what the luggage is like. But it does absolutely everything it needs to. The only things I would change, as I've said, handguards. I'd put some real ones on like Barkbusters. I'd add a bash plate and I'd add a radiator guard. Those are the three main things it needs that it doesn't come from the factory with. I'm pretty sure, apart from the handguards, you could probably get a radiator guard and the bash guard off the Harley accessories package. So, yeah, great price, great first attempt by Harley at an adventure bike. Now what I'd like to see is a smaller version, lighter. This is thereabouts 260 kilos. Woohoo, a water crossing, fun. You don't feel the weight so much, but you can get into a bit of trouble in low speeds, more technical stuff with a big heavy bike. But it handles beautifully. I am a fan. If I had the money, would I buy one? If I was in the market for a big adventure tour, hell yeah. It's very good value. The only thing will be how it sort of becomes accepted by the Harley faithful. Will you still be allowed on the hog rides? Will you still be will you not be looked down upon by the guys on the classic Harleys? I suppose time will tell, but for now that's my thoughts on the Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250 Special. If you've stuck around this long, wow, that's a mess of a truck. If you stuck around this long and you've enjoyed watching my ramblings, give us a like, give us a subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean I'm doing something right, and give me a bit of a spur to sort of actually get putting more content out on YouTube. So till next time, thanks for watching. I've been Matt, and yeah, keep calm and on the throttle.